All right, you made it back here to the Gill Athletics Connections podcast. Man, I'm just so pumped. We're getting into season 7 here, and you've seen the guests we've had so far, and the guests we're going to keep having. You know who we have today. You already read the thing. I'm pumped, man. Season 7. I can't believe it's here. I can't believe we've been doing this for 7 years, and I'm just absolutely pumped. If this is your first time listening, you're probably like, well, who the heck are you? My name is Mike Cunningham. I'm the host here of the Gill Connections podcast, also the biz dev manager here for the Gill brand. And you probably see me at track clinics and track meets, the NCAA sponsorship, and all that kind of good stuff. If you are not a first time listener, if you've listened to a few of these, thank you for coming back. Do me a favor. I'm a terrible podcast host. I always forget to ask this. It really does help for other people, so other coaches to find this podcast. If you will, on your app or if you're on YouTube, if you'll rate, review, and subscribe, all that kind of stuff, that really does help. So whichever one of the three or all three, that'd be great. I'd really appreciate that. And really, it's just about spreading the word so other track coaches know about what we're doing here so they can enjoy and receive the value that you're getting by listening. So let's hop into it today. Here we go with the head coach for the girls at Bloom Township, right here in Gill's homeland, right here in Illinois. Help me welcome the wise, the wonderful Mr. Joseph Tooks. Tooks, what's up, man?
How you feel, man? I am blessed.
It's off season when we're recording this. It's off season. I think when this publishes, will be an indoor season. But man, I'm feeling good. Except for I'm originally from Alabama, so I'm not really liking this cold stuff, man.
Starting to get to that winter season, man.
It's the
That's
worst.
that's what indoor is all about.
Yeah, thank God. If I wasn't an equipment manufacturer, I'd say just get rid of outdoor and just keep it indoor because it's contained. But I need both, and really, track and field is really outdoor sport. But so I guess give me both. But man, I'd like to go south during
You
this
definitely
time.
got to love that controlled weather on the inside of indoor
Dude,
season.
I
You know,
do. I do.
especially as a jumper.
I do, man. There's something about indoor track, the loudness to it, the intimacy, so I can see everything real easy.
Hmm.
Indoor track is pretty cool. I'm surprised, and I wish they would do indoor track for like the Winter Olympics. Like I think that'd fly pretty well, you know?
That's the idea.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that will get a lot of interest.
I wish they would do that. Okay, real quick, I like to know people's mascots, and shame on me, not that I know all of Illinois' mascot. Illinois, if you're not from Illinois, especially right here around the Champaign area, has some of the craziest mascots in the world. It's really weird. Go look it up, and it's crazy. Bloom Township, I feel like doesn't have a crazy one. I want to say you're something like I'm trying to look for. Oh, okay, I do. I was about to say I'm looking for clues in your background, and I see looks like a Spartan or a Trojan. Are you the Trojans?
The Blazing Trojans.
Dude, so I went to Troy University. I'm a Trojan, so
Awesome.
I like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good, good, good. The Bloom Township Do you know why they're the Trojans?
So Bloom Township and Bloom Trail, when they combined athletics, Bloom Trail was the Trailblazers, and Bloom Township in Chicago Heights, Bloom High School was the Trojans. So when they combined, we became the Blazing Trojans.
Oh, I didn't even hear. I'm sorry. You're the Blazing Trojans.
Yes, sir. We're the
Oh,
Blazing Trojans.
that's actually kind of cool. That's cooler than just the Trojans, actually. I like that. That's really cool. I love that.
Yeah, man, I thought it was a great combine for the building. Hey,
When
sounds
when
good.
when did they? I'm getting ahead of myself here a little bit, but when did they combine?
So I want to say they combined early 90s.
Okay, because
Early 90s.
I coached at De La Salle High School the 96 and 97. Yeah, 96 and 97 season. And I feel like I remember Bloom High School. You mentioned that was one of the two. So I wonder when that was. That's interesting. Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Before
Long
my
time.
time.
That's what I was gonna say. You're young. What? Yeah, I'm not even gonna ask. Yeah, you weren't even thinking about track and field. All right, Tooks, let's get into it, baby. Assuming you were an athlete, and we certainly don't want to assume because we've had many, many great coaches here on the podcast that were not athletes who've gone on to become great track coaches. But assuming you were an athlete, where in the world does track and field start for you?
So for me, track and field started in the fifth grade. I attempted to race our principal in the fifth grade. It was our fun day, last days of school, and our principal usually liked to race the kids that were going over to the middle school. And because he usually liked to encourage those who were fast to go out for track because he was a
Nice,
track guy.
nice.
So Mr. Morgan, the principal, man, he just gave us fifth graders an opportunity to race him, and you know, the year before, I saw a young man beat him. So I'm like, it got to be possible. And that young man was fast. So I came close to beating him, and he still gave me the win, man. I tried to dip and everything. He still gave me the win, and he had a conversation with me after that race and was like, "Hey, you should make sure you join the Cottage Grove track team. You got some speed if you can keep up
Yeah.
with me." And I joined track and field that summer with the Illinois Flames, and it was all she wrote, man. I joined the track team after that in the sixth grade and was running for the seventh grade, my sixth grade year, and kept it up.
I uh,
Went
I
to
love
state. It was fun.
I love an administrator who encourage. He said he was a track guy. I always talk about with our track coaches, including you, took. So I always encourage our track coaches to go into administration, whether it's on the high school side or the collegiate side. Not that because I want to lose you as a coach, but I know that some important decisions about our sport are happening in those circles, and I sure would
Agreed.
like a guy like that principal, a guy who knows track and field and loves track and field, to be in those circles having those conversations. So I love that he was a track guy and as a principal there. That's pretty cool.
Very encouraging. Very encouraging.
That's cool. So you jumped right into it. You said, "All right, cool. You think I'm fast? I'm gonna do track," and you started doing track and field. Any other sports?
Yeah, well, I thought I was a basketball guy. I did play ball. My mom, she was in the Hall of Fame for Rich East High School. She
Wow.
played
Yeah.
ball at Rich East. So, yeah, I thought I was supposed to be a basketball player,
Yeah.
but come to find out, I was just athletic enough to play basketball,
That's
but I was really a track guy. So,
that's a good distinction.
yeah, yeah.
That's good.
And
Uh,
the
good.
crazy part is there's tons of young athletes out here who it's a lot of people who think they basketball players when really they could be really great track guys.
Right. I told you I was in Chicago in the 96, 97 timeframe during the Jordan Bulls. So everybody really did think they were basketball players. Everybody wanted to be Jordans. No one wanted to be Michael Johnsons. But some of them found out they were not Jordans and they were better at being Johnsons. So
Right?
it
Right?
worked out. So you said your mom was a Hall of Famer. That's amazing. What high school did you end up going to?
So she went to Richie's, but I came to Bloom Trail.
Okay.
So after running track uh sixth, seventh, and eighth grade year, I end up being coming out of eighth grade being top 10 of my class. And I had a offer to go to Marian Catholic,
Hmm.
where my mom knew the track coach. But at that time, realizing the dynamics of the team, Bloom Township was the ideal team to beat around that time.
Hmm.
So it came to a point to where it was, do I want to go to Marion and have to race these guys?
Hmm.
Or do I want to go to Bloom Trail, train with these guys, get better,
Right.
and just only have to deal with them at practice? You
Right.
know, I knew it was gonna be hard to break that varsity cut with those guys, but to have that leadership and that type of talent to train with, I think that was the best experience, best choice for
That
me.
that's an interesting thought process there, not thought process, but decision you made there, because I could see, I have a lot of grace for 14 to 18-year-old, 18 to 22-year-old. I just, they're young. You were young at this time. So if you would have said, "Hey, Mike," so I ended up going to Marian Catholic because, I wouldn't even be able to make the 4x1 team at Bloom until maybe my junior year. And I wanted immediately, like, I'd be like, "Oh, that makes sense." Okay, I can't fault that. But you were, even at a young age, kind of a little bit different of like, okay, I may not be able to make the 4x1. And I don't know if that's the count, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seemed like it would have been harder for you to be on varsity going to Bloom. But you were like, okay, but that's going to make me better.
That's gonna make me better for sure. I just knew that going to where those, because I looked up to most of those guys, and I watched a lot of the Bloom track and field
Mhm.
coming out of eighth grade and seventh grade simply because playing basketball in junior high. when I had friends that were being scouted by the high school.
Hmm.
They had basketball coaches coming to watch them out of eighth grade. Well, I had the track coach coming to watch me. So I was like, okay, well, I know where my focus needs to be.
Hmm.
So that pretty much opened the door for me for wanting to be at Bloom.
Yeah.
I knew the Marion coach knew about me, but he knew my mom. So, which was all good, but I knew I needed to make that decision for myself.
Yeah.
And just racing those guys at the time, I just knew it wasn't gonna look good for me, man. Iron sharpens iron, man.
Yeah, that's right.
I'd rather go and let them boys whip me into shape, and it turned out well. It turned out
Yeah.
well. I had great leaders, great captains, and built long lasting friendships.
Forgive my ignorance. Bloom's not in the the Chicago public schools, right?
No,
I just remember, not being from Chicago. So when I went up there and started coaching at De La Salle and stuff, I had to learn, Chicago Catholic League, CPS, all this kind of stuff. And
hmm
back then, because what year did you graduate high school?
2009.
Okay, yeah, she's so when you were still playing with Duplos, you wouldn't even play with Legos. You had to play with Duplos. Uh, the Catholic League was really good for track and field. Ed Adams at Leo and some other guys. Loyola was really good. I was at De La Salle. We were okay. And the CPS was terrible. I mean, for track, terrible. I remember we were just down the road from Dunbar and stuff. They had good athletes. Like the basketball teams were amazing. Football teams were pretty good. And I remember always thinking like, man, if the CPS ever took like track and field serious, like there's some talent in those schools, and eventually they did. Now they've had some amazing athletes out of the CPS. So I didn't know. I couldn't remember where Bloom, kind of where they were. You're more suburbs, right? If I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
we're
yeah. Okay.
far
Yeah, yeah.
south.
So tell me about high school. You've got a bunch of good guys on the team. You're battling every day. Tell me about what kind of relationship you have with coach. What was you're kind of giving us a little bit of insight into what it was like the relationship with you and the athlete. Sounds like every day was a battle, which can be good for
Yeah,
track and field. Tell us
yeah.
about more about that.
So, having the coaches that I had at the time, they really allowed the athletes to set the standard for each other. Andrew Schmidt, who's the head coach at New Trier, he
Yeah.
just won state last year.
Mhm.
Jeff Timms, he came my sophomore year. My freshman year, I had a jump coach by the name of Coach Matt, and my sprint coach at the time was Coach Woods. Uh, they just really set the standard, man, and they ran the program as if it was a collegiate program. There was no sugarcoating about things, and the best thing that I can say, um, Andrew Schmidt was very knowledgeable, very knowledgeable. So I really take my hat off to coaches who really continue their education and just don't think what they know is enough.
Mm.
Steady further in that education because um, there's always going to be ways to get athletes better, and just finding those different ways tells me that that coach understands that every athlete is different.
Hmm.
So, the same thing I prescribe this athlete, it may not work.
Right.
So just having that knowledge, man, and
Were you, as a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid, high school kid, were you cognizant of that? Like, as an adult now, especially as an adult who becomes a track coach, spoiler alert, uh, when you're in high school, there's a lot of things going on. And you may have taken track very, very seriously, but there's still, who's going to go to the dance and who am I going to go with? Oh, I got to pass math, pre-algebra, whatever. That's what I took in high school, pre-algebra. You probably took much better math. There's all these things that are going on. Were you cognizant of like some of these coaches you're mentioning, that they were learning their craft still, or was it here's what I'm always interested with athletes who I know become track coaches. Were you involved, and what I mean involved, like were you paying attention to what kind of workouts they were doing, and you were curious, not questioning them, but you were curious, like, oh, I wonder why we did this on Monday and then this on Tuesday? Or because again, we're talking about 14, 18-year-old kids here, were you the guy who was just like, they told me to run and I ran? I didn't know why, but I listen to coach. Both are good. You know what I'm saying?
so I gotta say that my freshman and sophomore year, because I had such great leadership, I think the coaches did a good job with breaking down to the captains what the workout was while we was doing it. And us as young athletes, we knew that those top guys was the top guys for a reason.
Mm.
So when they came back and told us what the workout was, they didn't necessarily explain
Right.
why, like
Sure.
coach did for them,
Hmm.
but we knew, hey, we following suit
Yep.
because we know how good you guys are.
Makes
So,
sense.
but my junior and senior year, when I became the guy that coach was pulling to the side, hey, we doing this, it's gonna work on this. It made me really understand
Right.
um, that these guys really they take their knowledge
Yeah.
and about track and field and
Did,
what they can do for us serious.
did you have knowing that we don't talk X's and O's necessarily, but when I love this aspect because so as a fresh off, you were the captain said run this because coach said that. Psh, I did it. I didn't question it. Then junior and senior, you start kind of getting to be able to peel behind the curtain, like, oh, this is why we
Right,
do this.
right.
This is why we do it. Was there a think about this is kind of a hard question because we're going back a few years here, but was there a day, a workout, a scenario that happened when you were literally like, oh my God, I thought we did this workout because of blah 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 blah. Now I see the evil genius behind it. We're actually doing it because of this. Do you remember any kind of story like that?
So my first time being introduced to the Wilma Ross workout.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh my Lord. So I didn't necessarily understand why. I'm thinking that, for a quarter miler and 300 hurdler, I'm thinking that, hey, maybe I need to go out for some longer runs to build strength so I'm
Right,
not hitting lactate so quick. And he broke it down with that workout, understanding that the body when the body hits lactate, it's really not much that you can do.
right,
But the goal is with that workout, man, I remember it like it was yesterday. It made me realize that what you want to do is you want to use your speed aspect to get as far as around the track before lactate sets in there.
right.
So and then learning to work through the lactate, knowing how to stay relaxed through the lactate. So that
Yeah.
workout right there really made me wake
Now,
up to the track world. Like these coaches know what they doing.
Now you hit a memory for me when you said Wilbur Ross. And again, I know we don't get an X's and O's, but I'm going to give you a pass on this one. What workout are you specifically talking about? Because Wilbur Ross was a freaking genius. And you guys who don't know who Wilbur Ross is, you got to go to, I guess, the internet, go somewhere and find his books. His hurdle book was, you couldn't read my version of his hurdle book because I had read through it so many times. I mean, it was unbelievable. What workout are you talking about?
2 plus 2s.
Two plus twos. Okay.
So 200 plus 200.
Okay. So like
And
200, small rest, 200.
man, you did a two as fast as you can
Yep.
because
Yep.
our coach used to say you need to be under 50 seconds. If you
Yeah.
can't run on our 4x4, if you can't run under 50 seconds.
Right.
So I remember specifically him saying, hey, the first 200 need to be 24, the second 200 need to be 24 or faster. I was like, oh. And then when I realized it was only a 30-second rest, once we got through the first 200, ooh, Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they would call those broken 400s now or something. We used to, boy, Tooks, you're getting me into the zone I never go into, but it's such great memories. So at Mississippi State, I was with Steve Dudley. He was our head sprint coach. I assisted him, and one of his like bread and butter 400-meter workouts that it would progress throughout the year. It would start out what you're saying, 200, 200, right? So you do 200, so you'd run from the start line to the 200, and like maybe let's just call it 30 seconds, and then 200
Mhm.
meter in, and then a long recovery, and we do that, maybe two or three times, maybe three or four, but not many, right? Because
Right, right.
right? And then he would continue to extend it. So we would do a 250, 150. And then, again, as we're moving down the season, a 300, 30 seconds, 100,
Yep.
and then finally a 350 walk back 100. And I tell you what, our quarter mile, we ran three flat my last year there.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we're pretty good.
oh,
We got some good kids out of high school, some 46s and stuff like that. No 44s or anything, but they all ended up splitting, call it 44. So, but that is just a memory of mine that I like that kind of workout just like stick like if someone were to like force me to go to the track right now and say, coach these quarter milers, I'm like, all right, guys, we're doing 230 second 200.
right,
That's just what we
right.
do.
It's just one of those workouts that it wakes them up. Like, hey,
Yes, the
this is a
serious.
four. Yep,
Yeah,
this is what quarter milers do.
I love it. Now you mentioned a jumps coach and hurdling as well. Do you do a lot of events?
So in high school, I became a 300 hurdler my junior and senior year, thanks to the great Jeff Timms, who's now at Benedictine.
Nice.
Um, but my freshman, sophomore year, I came in, I was just straight sprints and jumps guy.
Mhm.
Did high jump, triple jump, long jump.
Nice.
Uh, did my part on the 4x2s for fresh soft. But as we started to as those guys started to graduate and I moved up, I just started to figure out what my bread and butter was. And
Right.
by my junior year, I was a top triple jumper. Um, I was just learning 300 hurdles. I had moved away from the 110s simply because I couldn't make the height adjustment.
Sure.
But I actually moved away from long jump and ended up making triple my. And the crazy thing is, I was jumping. This was before, like now I look at the state. I look at the state qualifying. I'm like, 44.3. I was, I was every bit of 44.11 and 45 in high school,
All
and
right.
45 was the standard to go downstate.
Yeah.
So now I'm seeing that they're accepting 44 threes, and I'm like, man. But it was, I think that my coaches did a good job with not keeping me in a box.
Right.
Um, allowed me not to come in and just say I'm a 100 200 guy, because as a seventh and eighth grader I went downstate for the 100 and 200. But
Right.
you get into high school, it's a whole nother playing field.
Yeah. Hey,
So
that brings up a good point for listeners as well. Something that I'm really proud of Illinois, and I don't believe I've not heard that it happens very often in other states. I'm sure there are some states in there, but Illinois runs a full all out middle school state championship for track and field, the IESA, and it's a
yeah, they do.
great meet. It's a great setup for high schoolers, and I think that's why Illinois, when you look at, if you were to name the top five states for track and field in the United States, as far as like talent and stuff, quickly number one, number two, number three, right? California, Texas, and Florida, maybe. But there's a good argument that Illinois is a number four, number five. Georgia's going to talk some talk. Ohio is going to talk
Mhm.
some talk, but Illinois ain't 10th. Let me tell you that. And I think part of that, besides the coach, there's some amazing coaches, and you mentioned about coaching education and things like that. That has gone on in the state for quite a while, and that's been really impressive. But I think that middle school state meet plays a factor in our overall varsity level track and
Mhm.
field here. I really do. I'm really proud of the people that put that on, the coaches that support it, and I wish every state would do that because, gosh, I couldn't imagine what track and field already is crazy on the high school level
Agreed.
in the U.S. I couldn't imagine if we had a full-fledged, middle school development program. When you look back, what was your favorite event in high school to do?
Triple jump.
Is that right? Yeah.
Triple jump. Just the so I would triple jump in 300 hurdles would be next. Then for me it would be the 4x4.
Mhm.
But if I had amongst all the relays, the 4x4 is by far my favorite.
Yeah, of
But
course.
my favorite event would definitely have to be triple jump, because I was really able to make that my own, and then that really became my bread and butter in college.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what paid the bills in college.
man, you're a great segue artist because that's where we're going to next. So, senior year, you're captain on the track team. You're thinking about state meet. You're also thinking about, well, I might go to college. First of all, before first question as we talk about college, as you're looking into schools and looking into majors, what are you as an 18-year-old, 17-year-old, what are you thinking at that point that you're going to be? Are you going to be a businessman? Are you going to be a teacher? Or were you thinking like was coaching? I'm trying to figure out, was coaching at all in your head as a 17-ish year old kid?
Yeah, so as a captain, I gotta say that Jeff Timms and Andrew Schmidt did a good job with giving the captains the leeway to really lead the team.
Nice.
So I really saw myself as an awesome leader um of my senior year. And I was on a team with some really good athletes. I had Japheth Cato, who jumped at Wisconsin.
Oh
He
yeah.
Yeah, he had actually I think he set the record over there for the
Yeah,
hep.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I say he's a
ran
multi kid. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
yeah, ran with Jay Cato, um uh Alex Robinson, who was long jump champion in 2008. Him and Jay Cato went 1 and 2. I believe that was 2008 or 2009, my senior year.
Wow.
So yeah, they went 1-2 in the state. Uh so I had some really good guys, man, and I want to say that for me it was my mom who really pushed me, stayed in the back of my mind of being that first grandson to graduate college. So
Mm,
for me, it was how am I gonna make that happen? And once I realized I was good at track, I said this got to be it.
mm,
This got to be it. So I really found where I would be appreciated. I think
mm,
for me,
mm.
a college where I would be appreciated, where the coach would understand me and where I was coming from. Um, and I found that in St. Joe. Ended up going to St. Joe where Bill Mossels was the head coach.
Yeah, there's a couple of St. Joe's
Oh,
where,
St. Joe in Rensselaer, Indiana.
yeah, I'm sure I'm getting this mixed up. Doesn't exist anymore?
No, they actually closed. They end up
Yeah, okay,
closing.
okay. I want to make sure.
Yep.
Okay, okay, yeah.
I believe the
So
Bears used to play there back. I mean, used to
I
practice there
think
back in the day.
that's right. That sounds right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you went to St. Joe's, which had, sad that the school closed down because it had put out some good track kids there. I do remember that.
Yep.
So you go there. So when you go, first of all, were you, did you look at several different places and you zeroed in on coach there?
I was looking at Lewis because it
Yeah,
was close.
I'm sure.
And then the head coach at the time left.
Hmm.
So the new coach that was there didn't offer me the same
Hmm. Hmm.
package deal. So I decided to find a school in the conference.
Yeah.
I took it personal, actually.
Okay. As soon as
I
you
was
said that,
like,
I see where this is going.
yeah, I said to myself I would find a school in the conference just to make them pay. And I did. I ended up finding St. Joe, and I ended
Nice.
up choosing St. Joe after I talked to the coach. So my first reason for choosing St. Joe is because it had my name in it. And then,
I didn't even put two and two together there, of course. St.
right,
Joseph Tooks. There we go. I got it. Got it.
right. So I went there because it first had my name in it, and then after talking to the coach, we built. I mean, he just seemed so authentic over the phone, man, and felt like I could trust him with the type of person that I was because I was able to let him know who I was right through the door.
Right.
Um, and he said, was, hey, I'm willing to work with you, brother. And that I just felt like he understood me.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to St. Joe, and I could honestly say every GLVC conference meet made sure I found that Lewis triple jumper, whoever he was at the time.
It's funny. You hear this kind of story often, right? You hear, with the musical artists who say, "Oh, everybody who turned me down," and actors who, every role that they turned me down, I kept, I'd pin the letter, the rejection letters,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah. Here's the thing. Here's how I think about it. Thank goodness that coach, whoever the new coach at Lewis was, didn't offer you the same package because you weren't meant to go there. You were meant to go to St. Joe. So I turn it around and think about like, oh, thank God you didn't offer me what I thought I should be offered because that's not authentic. That's not where I should have been. I should have been at St. Joe's, and that led to that. So, and it's also tough, man. You hear that story too about new staff comes in and they don't offer the same or they don't recruit me like they did. Boy, I tell you what, it's hard when
it
you're
is.
a coach of a new program. There's so much going on, and it's tough. I don't think I've ever met any coach who went to a new program who didn't recruit a kid or didn't offer them the same that did it out of like spite, like, oh, that was that old coach's kid, so I'm not gonna bring it. It's more of just they think differently. We just, you know
Hmm.
what? Hey, you were there. Hold on. This struck me. So we were just at Marcus Lowe's clinic up
Yep.
in Kankakee, right? And you remember Brenton Emanuel from USC spoke, right, about recruiting. Remember him?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And he brought up a point about uh, how each school, each program is a little different. It could be radically different, and the coach's priorities can be and are radically different. And he made the comment about he was using a mythical I think he said 47 point. And regardless whether he said 46 and a half or 47, it doesn't matter. Let's just use 47 point. He said a 47 point kid at Nebraska, you'd probably, because that's where he's from. He's from Nebraska, and then he went to USC, would probably be offered less than 47 point at USC. And that's kind of counterintuitive because you're like, dude, it's USC or $100,000 a year,
Hmm.
LA, and, you just won the national title and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, but at Nebraska, we knew we were going to win with field events and distance. Like that was our priority. So a 47 point kid's not, still good, but yeah, we just don't have enough money for them. Where at USC, it's like, oh, we're going to win with sprints and hurdles. That's it. There's no distance. Maybe there's a thrower, but and so we can fully invest into a 40. If we think that's a 47 point kid that can become 45, then we
Hmm.
can fully invest or more invest in that kid. It may not work out, but that's the risk we're willing to take. And that
Right.
made so much sense because I think on paper, people are like, well, yeah, of course Nebraska's going to offer a 47 kid more than USC. And it's like, no, because of the priorities and cost of school and things like that. It's like, it
I agree.
makes so much sense. Off track a little bit here, of course, but
Oh, no, no, no. I think it goes hand in hand because it's
yeah,
perfect because my also a reason for me going to St. Joe was when he told me that his triple jumper was a senior that year and I would be the freshman triple jumper coming in. And he was letting me know, like, your marks are pretty competitive with my senior jumper. So,
hmm
you'll be able to come in and provide help right away. That's all I needed to know
hmm
is
hmm
that I could come in and be beneficial to your program
right,
and that,
right,
you believe in my ability to help your program. And
yeah,
that's what it was for me, man.
yeah.
Uh,
So when you go to St. Joe's, so besides being your name on the school, I love that. What was your major when you started? What were you thinking about becoming? What was 18-year-old Tooks thinking about becoming as an adult?
so that's cool you say that because I took 3 years of mass communication. Well, it was broadcast and television here at Bloom Trail,
Yeah.
and I actually ended up getting my mass comm degree. At the time, I was doing little small work. As a junior, senior, I was actually like making side money, learning how to record
Yeah.
artists, music
Wow.
artists. So
Yeah.
I was already jumping into the media field, trying to learn entertainment. And
That's so cool.
when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in college, and I came across broadcasting, I said, I'm going to get me a mass communications degree.
Wow.
And that's what I said, man. I made it happen.
Is that
And
right? That's what you ended up getting your degree in.
mass communications.
Wow, that's so cool. I'm a communications major myself. It's so versatile. When
It
people
is.
talk, well, I did more print journalism and people are like, oh, we need to become a newspaper reporter. I'm like, well, first of all, thank God, because no one buys newspapers anymore.
Man,
But all the skills that I learned from writing, expressing yourself, design work, it's like, oh, I use that every day. I use it every day when I was a coach. I use it every day as a sales professional.
right?
It's a great major, man. That's really cool.
Because it also put me in position to be able to, as an adult and as a coach, lead, man, be able to clearly speak and get my point across to the mass.
Yeah, yeah,
When you're dealing with 30 teenage girls who all upset about something, you
right.
know, it's you got to be able to control the room.
Yeah,
And I think I do a really good job with setting that standard for my athletes, and they know, when Coach Took speaks, it's time to listen.
yeah. When you early in your St. Joseph's educational career, so did you think like what did you want to be like a music producer? Did you want to be like behind the camera, someone who helps with music videos? What were you thinking as a 19
So
year old?
I wanted to just run my own. I thought I was gonna be the next. What's the guy name? Russell Simmons.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Like on
I
your
thought
own
I was
record
gonna be
label.
I thought I was gonna be the next Russell Simmons,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it turned out that my for uh, passion for music it was there, but I wasn't fully with it,
Yeah.
because in the direction that music was going into.
Mm.
So I think for me, understanding that uh, the camera was a big basis around that, I really wanted to be the radio host because I ran the radio station for 4 years at St. Joe.
Yeah, is that right? Nice.
WPUM. Yeah, it was fun, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. So I always thought would be a radio personality, but it just took a turn, man. I ended up actually structuring a photography company. So I started my own photography company, and then I just recently started my own entertainment and promotions company.
In college?
And so in college, no, I was
Okay.
just thinking like in college, I was more so focused on the radio side.
Right, right.
So once I got that radio gig at the station,
Yeah.
and my grades showed that I could run the radio station because that was part of your assignments. I became a regular for
Yeah.
the local.
Yeah.
So being that voice that people recognize in the neighborhood Walmart, they like
Dude,
you're the voice of St. Joe. So
that's
um,
so cool, man. I wish I tell my kids this, because now my freshmen in high school in sixth grade, and so they see the Mike Cunningham today, doing a podcast, getting in front of a track clinic, those kind of things, getting on stage. And they're like, "Oh, you must have been like that in high school, Dad, in college." I was like, "No, I really wasn't. I was a little too shy, too insecure to do those things." I bet that if I would have had some of the same skill sets that I have today, and some of those skill set is, by the way, I don't give a crap what people think. That allows me to get on a stage and things like that. It's like,
yes, sir.
I wonder if I'd have had a little bit more of that in college if I wouldn't have gone the radio route too. Because I love music. I love introducing, like, explaining, like, oh, the next song and, a little tidbit behind, those kind of things. I love doing interviews, things like that. I think the radio might have been like maybe my lost calling. Like that's what I could have, should have been. The Casey Kasem, which I don't know if you know Casey. That's a little older, but that kind of thing,
Is
man.
that is that is that he from AM 1000?
Dude, well, maybe he was the guy. The every Sunday, the top 40 hits of pop or whatever on the radio. Casey Kasem was the host of that
Okay.
radio show. Yeah, kind of the who's the guy now who has all the jobs? He is or was the host of American Idol. What's his name? He's kind of famous, or he is famous because he has a show on E and oh my gosh. Anyway, that guy is kind
Okay.
of like the radio personality guy of today, or at least, maybe I'm aging myself 10, 15 years ago. That's what Casey Kasem was on the radio. He had a
Sure.
great radio voice, was always the announcer, the host of things like that. Maybe did he do Casey Kasem's Rock and Roll New Year's Eve? I think so. I could be missing that, but he did like a New Year's Eve big bash, on TV and stuff. Anyway, it was cool. Okay, so talk to us about college. You had some real gunners on the high school team that you had to keep up with and taught you how to become a captain and things like that. What was it like going to college? Sometimes that can be a little different.
So once I got to college, I could say that I hit a little bit of a plateau, but my plateau was because I got big headed.
Mm,
Um, Being at that point and not being leadable, because I was coachable for my coach,
yeah.
but when the senior at the time was trying to help me with certain things and stay on me about being in the weight room, because I wasn't that far off from him, I just felt like it wasn't much that he could tell me, But I learned that if you learn to listen and take what others may be able to offer you and just figure out how you can work with it.
Mm.
You know, don't be so quick to not want to give somebody the opportunity to help you out, you know? So once I adapted to learning how to work out in the weight room, because
Mhm.
in high school the weight room wasn't pushed on us, you
Sure.
know. We went in there, we did what we were supposed to, but you wasn't really focused on what you
Right.
were supposed to do in the weight room. College, it was your job,
Yeah.
you know. So um, once I took that leadership from the senior at the time, his name was Tad Hattinger. Uh, he did a good job reeling me in, and super respect to that guy, because not only did it get me stronger, I ended up beating him outdoor at the outdoor conference my freshman year. And I thought he would take it bad, but he was like, "Man, I've been training you for this."
Wow.
So
That had to stick with you, right? Because it was like, oh,
it
wait a
did.
minute. That's selfless. Like, wait a minute. You caused this. Instead of you winning, I'm winning. And instead of being a hater, or trying to force that I'm a senior, you're a freshman, he was like, man, congratulations, man. I've been trying to help you for this. This is awesome. Like he was
Hey,
happy for you.
big PRs. That's what it's all
Yeah.
about, and that's what. So that right there is what made me want to be a coach.
Really?
Yeah.
What about it? Was it you saw him develop? I mean, you've had people develop you though, so it can't be that. Was it the selflessness of like, oh, this isn't about me, it's about you?
Right. So I think because I've always had when you come into high school, you trying to find your way and you know that there's others better than you. But I think for me, once I got to college, I felt like I was good, you know?
Mm,
And to have somebody humble themselves to tell me, to show me, it was like, I respect that.
yeah.
Now I want to help other people get to where they need to be.
Right, right, right. Yeah, sometimes it's I get people in all different situations, but sometimes we just have to see it modeled in front of us for us to
Yeah,
actually know that, well, wait a minute. It's almost, it sounds a little off-putting sometimes, but it's almost sometimes it's like, wait a minute, if that person can do it, well, then why can't I do it? It's like, but yeah, that's really cool, man. That's
agreed.
huge.
Because he almost became my jump coach. Like, though he was a athlete, he was my jump coach. So
Right,
to have somebody who's supposed to be wanting to beat you all the time,
right.
help you get better than them, so that when they left, you know, they could trust that, hey, you know
Right.
what you're doing. I
What a
thought that that
leader.
was very demure for me, man. It was amazing.
So that was freshman year. What did you do differently? You're still getting your mass comm degree, your next 3 years or so. What did looking back on it now, did you find yourself doing things differently the next few years? And what I mean by that is maybe less about what you were doing differently, like working out and weights and grades and all that stuff. Did you find yourself helping others more?
So I did. I found that my when I my sophomore year, my Bill Moss, who was the coach at the time, he he basically saw that I knew everything for triple jump that I needed to know, and that I just needed to work on certain things, and
Hmm.
um, that's only where he could come in at. So other things he was allowing me to, hey, hey, Tooks, go get all the jumpers. Triple jumpers got this work. I already knew, you know. So when I could take a group and run a group myself as a sophomore in college,
Yeah,
and I'm like, maybe I can. Maybe coaching is in the play for me, because
yeah.
I'm getting people to buy in. They're getting better under me. Maybe I do know what I'm talking about.
They named the school after him. I mean,
Right. It's already in the play.
it's in the books, baby. Okay, you go through the next few years. I love that change. And what did you say that young man's name was? Did you say Tad?
Tad Hettinger.
Man, it's amazing who gets put into your life that you don't even know or think would have an influence in your life and what he did for you. That's really remarkable, man.
It is, man.
That really is. So you go through the rest of your years, you get your mass comm degree, you're in the radio. uh, does coaching begin right after you graduate, or you mentioned you started a photography company?
So coaching began, um, coaching on the high school level began, I want to say, because I went after graduating, I sold cars for 2 years.
Hmm.
And but I knew my junior and senior year, I spent more time coaching other jumpers, like recruits that or talking to recruits that we had coming in or training new guys that I really my training time for myself was spent you know 50 coaching athletes and then the other work trying to get in for myself.
Right.
So once I graduated, I was just looking for because I should have went to California for a CNN job, but my aunt died uh, from cancer, and I just felt like
Mm.
I needed to be home,
Sure.
so stayed home and sold cars for 2 years, and then I got a call from I actually reached out to Andrew Schmidt himself and was wondering if they had anything open, man. And I just wanted to come in and coach because I already knew what I was doing on the college level. And man, it gave me an opportunity. So I was selling cars, and then I started getting into substitute teaching.
Mm.
And when I got into substitute teaching, I'm like, I really want to coach. So that's when I reached out to Andrew Schmidt, and he gave me an opportunity,
Wow.
and it's been all she wrote ever since.
Now, where was that at?
So my first coaching gig, well, I've been here all my coaching
Oh,
life.
that was there. Is that
I've
right?
been at Bloom all my coaching life.
Really?
Yeah. So I
Dude.
was an assistant for 8 years, and then the last 4 years I've been the head.
And are you full-time teaching now or?
I am a teacher's assistant. I'm a
Yep.
paraprofessional.
Yep. Hmm.
Yeah, but I like um putting out there that I'm the president of the paraprofessional union because I'm
Wait, is that a real thing? I don't know.
yeah. We have a union. Our paraprofessionals have a union. So and I'm the
Nice.
president.
Nice.
So
Hey, leader's gonna lead. I love that.
leaders gotta lead, man, and I'm all about it.
That's
I
so
like being in the
cool.
forefront.
Yeah. I don't know much about, I don't know much, period, but like it always amazing to me people who go to college and don't get an education, like a teacher's degree, but end up becoming teachers or paras, because it's not easy. Like
It's not.
and each state's a little differently. I know, and I've talked to a couple different people who have done it, but like I guess shocker, maybe I don't know. Texas is a little easier, at least on the private school side. But Illinois, I think, is a little tougher, and it's they don't make it easy, which
Oh, not at all.
I know on
Not
one
at
hand,
all.
I guess I agree on one hand, the other, because like I guess I do want my teachers to a very stringent bar for a teacher to hit. I also know they don't get paid enough, so it's also like, well, if you're gonna do that, pay them
Hey,
to do
hey,
that. Yeah,
they tolerate so much. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's why I enjoy being a para because I don't
yeah.
have the certain things that I have to do as a teacher.
Right,
Like I don't have to plan.
right.
I
Yeah,
don't have to plan what the class period gonna look like.
yeah.
I'm here to assist what the class period looks
Right,
like.
right.
So but I think for me, the para part, I took on the para part simply because I wanted to be in the building with my athletes.
Yeah,
I wanted to be able to keep an eye on them, and I know for me, growing up, eligibility was a big thing for some of our good athletes that could have been really good, but not having someone stand down that back popping up at class simply because they don't have anyone at home
yeah,
who set that expectation as a coach. I feel like that's where I come in at, and I do a good job, man, with helping kids because my shot putter who just recently graduated, super proud of her because she made a full 360 turn from her freshman year, all because I gave her a idea of what she could be good at for track,
right.
and she had never done it. She saw some success and fell in love with being
Wow.
successful and stayed all 4 years. Ended up getting the shot put record. You know, we didn't qualify for state, but it was definitely a
Yeah,
life experience for her because on the biggest stage of her life, right, she was looking for support. you know. But that taught her, even when in life, you're going to look for support, but sometimes you're not going to get it. But you still have to push to be successful,
That's right.
to get the job done, you know. So I think that's helped her
Yeah.
because now, she's pushing through, she's working, um, she doing the best for herself, man. And
I
that's
love
all
that. That's a
you can
great
hope
story.
that.
That's a story. I say the superpower of a track coach is that they can see something in someone else before they see it in themselves.
Before they see it in themselves.
That young lady couldn't see that her freshman year, and you did, and your coaches did, and you guys helped her. And that's a story. uh that's a common story. I'm glad it's not like one out of 1,000 times I hear that story, because there's coaches like you around the country that are doing that every day. And so that's what makes it common, that kids are being poured into by coaches such as yourself and the staff there every day. And I'm glad it's a uncommon, or it's a common story. I'm very glad, because that means more young people are being reached out to.
Yes,
Where
sir.
where does you mentioned a photography company, a business, where does that play into this?
So when I after I graduated, I did a lot of work with the camera at at St. Joe. And I just enjoy capturing pictures, man. I
Hmm.
enjoy capturing the moment. So once I got the job here at Bloom coaching, I'm like, I gotta capture some of these track moments, man. So I end up grabbing a camera, buying a Canon 40D.
Oh, you got like a real camera.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually I spent good money on it,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, because I want to be able to capture these moments in which I didn't have. All I got is the newspaper clippings and write-ins that I had from my high school year. So it's like if I could capture some of these moments for these kids, and I knew we was going into a social media era, and you
Right.
know, that was something that they appreciated, to
Hmm.
get a picture from a random meet that they was
Yeah.
running that they could cherish. You know,
Yeah, yeah, I do
I
know.
became the team photographer, and
Wow.
after that, I ended up taking pictures during basketball games. And yeah, I'm like, man, I'm gonna start my own photography company, man. And came up with Tooks with the Shot. And I actually had some really good success, man.
So, what it's interesting. I can think of several different people from Howard Leo, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, up in Seattle. Quinn, who's been on the podcast, that love something about track and photography goes together. I don't know what it is, and maybe it's other sports too, but I know in track, it's not uncommon to hear people really get, not just I'm going to take pictures, like I'm going to capture the moment, like you said, of these things. What 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 drew you to the camera? I mean, that's very artistic, and radio hosting is artistic as well.
For
So
sure.
it's a very art kind of bend for you.
So I think I tried to jump into the market for the Chicago market for radio, but
Hmm.
it's hard to get into the Chicago market.
Sure.
So I figured I would pick up something that I knew people would use on a regular for the like entertainment life, and that's photographers.
Hmm.
So I actually made my first 2 years in it was super good, man, because I had so many people looking to work with me. They like, man, we need a photographer, and
So what
first
kind
2 years was awesome.
what kind of gigs were you getting? Are you doing weddings? Are you doing all sporting
So
events? What are you
I,
doing?
I focused my first 2 years on sporting events,
Hmm.
simply because with me being a sport guy, I just knew those angles that parents would love to capture their
Right.
kids, and um, that was the creative side for me,
Right.
being that sports photographer. And then I want to say it was until I want to say like my third year in, I started taking like baby showers, learning like certain lighting at baby showers, and then learning. I think I've only done like 3 weddings,
Hmm.
simply because I just don't like standing that long.
Yeah.
I like sitting down when
They
I want to
work.
sit down.
Yeah, they work.
At those weddings, they expect you to be everywhere,
Yeah. Yeah,
everywhere,
don't miss a moment.
right? They be like, I can't believe you didn't get grandma kissing
Yeah.
auntie. Like, I was too busy taking a picture of you.
Right. It's like exactly. Yeah, you always need like hire like five of them. If you want everything, hire five different photographers. Knock
Right,
yourself out.
right. 1,000 a person.
I
By all
love
means, go.
it. I love it. I love it. So you start working as an assistant at Bloom, and I like that you're in school there because I told you I coached a couple years at De La Salle High School, and I didn't. I worked off off campus and then came for practice and that that's I don't know if it's 50-50, but there's certainly enough of us track coaches who don't teach or do anything at the high school. They have another job and then they come, and I think you and they're doing a great job.
Great.
It's hard, but you brought up a good point about being able to be in the hallways, being able to show up at a classroom, making sure you're there. Like there is something there for that maybe 14 to 18-year-old kids need more than just the guy or gal who shows up at call it 3 o'clock for practice, which is also important. I'm just saying, I think if you had your druthers, maybe you'd want to be at the school as well.
I agree, man, simply because, you can get in front of the problem of eligibility. You
Right,
can get in front of that problem before it becomes a problem,
right,
you know? And I think kids find a sense of they take a sense of ownership once they become a athlete, in which they should. But I think most kids don't understand that they are student athletes until they become professional.
mhm,
It's no way you can even do the athlete part if you don't take care of being a student.
right,
So I think that for me, being in the high school, being inside the building, gave me the power to pop up and make sure that they
right,
being the student and that I can view that for myself. I don't have to wait for teachers to email me back.
right.
I got access to grades right away. I get kids that walk up to me every year. Hey, I'm gonna do track. I say, okay, what's your ID number? And then I go right to my phone. I pull up their grades on my phone. I be like, oh, whoa, 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 before you walk off. How you gonna do track with 4 Fs?
Yeah,
You're not even
yeah,
eligible.
yeah,
They be like, what you mean?
yeah. Come on. Yeah, you brought up a good point too. Even peer to peer, being able to go talk to a teacher, to talk about Susie or Steven or whatever. Like it's much easier when you're in the school. Like, all right, I'll come get you in your second prep period or whatever. Where if you're, not showing up till after, that makes it more difficult for that. And also, every high school coach that we have here on the podcast, they talk about how important recruiting the hallways is for their team. Like if you want more kids on your team and you want to make sure that, Johnny, the football player comes out for track. Well, you need to make sure you're, seeing them in the hallway. And so that's another aspect of being at the campus during the day has to benefit you as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think for me, with on that aspect, you do see talent walking around, like things you can't even teach, like height. You can't teach height, right? But you can't really. You can walk up to the 6'4" girl who's walking the hallway, who's never done track, who's a senior, who you can say, "Hey, I know you've never done track. I've seen you through the hallways, but you should really come out."
Right.
Getting her out to the field to even just attempt a couple high jumps or long
Right.
jumps. Um, it's it's so hard because if they don't already have set in their mind that they could be good at it in this day and age, they don't want to attempt it.
Mm,
You know, so I I think my biggest thing when I'm in the hallway is um, letting the kids know what they can like. Hey, you look like you may be a good sprinter, but
right.
I can only help you be a good sprinter if you really want to be good.
Right.
Like, do you want to be? You got to ask. Like, so for me, I got to ask those certain type of questions.
Right.
Hey, how important is it for you to focus on something that you do? Like, it don't matter what you do.
Right.
How much focus are you willing to put on it? When kids tell me one or two out of 10, how important is it for you to be successful with whatever it is that you do?
Right.
If it's not a 10, or at least an 8 and up,
Yeah.
you know, you mean to tell me you okay with You okay with failing?
All right.
You know? Um,
How many of those kids, though? Let me ask you. That's important. Let's stay on that topic. And by the way, I'm speaking from not a teacher, not a high school coach anymore. Yeah, I've got two kids, right? I've told you I got a freshman and a sixth grader. But I wonder, like, I've been thinking about this a lot with different things. Some guests here on the podcast, some social media, some just society in general. Like, it's amazing to me how often and quick we are to bag on young people today. Now, having said that, I don't think we bag on young people any more today than what people that were, well, I'm older than you. People like me used to bag on your kids, your age. And people that were, older than me, they used to bag on my generation. It's funny, I was at a show once at a convention, and this lady, the presenter, and I can't remember what the topic was, but she was talking about like it was about teaching Gen X or working with Gen Xers. So in a professional
okay.
setting, we had to hire Gen Xers, all that kind of stuff, right? So here's how you manage Gen Xers versus millennials versus whatever. I don't even like all those different tags. I don't even remember them all, but whatever. And she read a statement. She goes, "What age group, what generation do you think this describes?" And it talks about, oh, the young people are lazy, they don't want to work, blah 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 blah. Right? You would say that when I say you, the general you, maybe not you necessarily, the general you would say that about today's youth right now. Oh, these kids, they just want to get on their TikTok, right, and all this kind of stuff, right? So
And I
hold on. So she reads all this and goes, "What age group, blah blah," and all the, it was a bunch of old guys in the audience. We were like, "Oh yeah, today's youth, blah blah blah." And she goes, "Actually, that was from the 1960 Time magazine. It was about you guys." So
wow.
it's not that young people are lazy today. All young people are lazy, whether you grew up in the 1960s, the 1990s, the 2020s. We eventually, some of us, eventually grow out of it. So I don't think it's today's youth. So here's where I'm really getting at, Tooks. When you say, if a kid says they're a one or a two and they don't say an eight, nine, or 10, I'm like, maybe you need to go play softball or whatever. That was my words, not yours. Don't get your softball coach mad at me.
Don't
Uh,
even go to softball.
yeah. Maybe you need to go, yeah, go join the e-gamers or something. I don't know. Anyway, but what I wonder is how many young people need someone like yourself when they say, I don't think I can be very good sprinting, Coach Tooks. A two. How many people need a Coach Tooks? And thank God there are people like you and other people out there that go, hey, why don't you give it a try? Why don't you come out and let's see what happens? And doesn't give up on that person. Plenty of people are giving up on these young people, just like plenty of people gave up on young people when you were young, and same with
Mhm.
me. I think young people in general are just lazy and they need leaders like our track and field coaches, like yourself, to just not give up on them until they're, some people are not savable, right? I get that. There's a reason why we have jails and unemployment and things like that. And I'm not bashing people that are in jail or unemployed. I just can't give another good example of that. But most of us go on to have full-time jobs. Some of us
Mhm.
who we never thought would do anything go on to become coaches and impact young people in a major way. I just think when I hear that story about you and the walk in the hallways, I'm like, man, Tooks, I don't I don't know that you're describing what you actually believe.
So I know that
You didn't give up on that young lady, that thrower that you mentioned.
I didn't, but she also took the risk of giving me the opportunity to try to make the change. I feel like,
Yeah.
I look at life as a big choice, right? And when someone expresses that um that potential in you that they see, now that becomes you having to see it for yourself.
Hmm.
So for me, at this point, when I get kids who doubt themselves so much, I go the extra mile to try to figure out why it is
See,
that you're doubting
that's
yourself.
what I'm talking about. I don't
You
think
know,
you were describing how you actually are. That's more of what I believe.
no, for sure. Now I will go the extra mile, to figure out why it is that you doubt yourself and do what I can to change it. But you have to be open to the
That's
change.
right. I agree with that.
You
That's right.
know,
You're not actually changing them. You're giving them a conduit to change, but they have to be the ones that change.
they're
Yes,
they
I'm with you. I'm with you.
agreed,
I'm with you. I'm with
agreed,
you.
agreed. And when you do have those who take that and they make the change, it's a beautiful thing.
That's right.
It's a beautiful thing. But like you said, you can't save everybody because the moment you try and you don't, you start to beat yourself up, then that becomes
Mm,
stress,
that's a great point.
right? And you just can't live right with
And,
stress.
and by the way, I'm not sure. I think the majority of people get there wherever there is, meaning, oh, I need to know how to. I realize now how I need to act to have a full-time job or to do well in math class or to be on the track team, etc.
Hmm.
I think we all eventually get there, but unfortunately, you're working with 14 to 18-year-olds. And what I mean by that, unfortunately, is some of us don't get it until we're 22, 28, 35. You only get them for this amount. Now,
Agreed.
the thing I think sometimes our high school and even our college coaches forget when they have a kid, because right now you're probably thinking of kids like, man, that kid was just unsavable. I don't even know what happened to it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Is 5 years down when they're 25 or whatever, and they do get it and they become a husband or a wife or a mother or a father. What you have the ability to do today in their 14, 18-year-old range is to plant a little seed. I've had so many coaches come onto the show and talk about when they were young, this one coach or this one teacher. I was a knucklehead, Mike, and this one teacher didn't give up on me. She wasn't my favorite teacher, but she kept pushing me. She wouldn't just let me just go and do my thing and fail my class or wouldn't let me just do my thing at practice and cut me or whatever. And now as a 25 or then as a 25-year-old, I realized, wow, they were trying to teach me X, Y, and Z, and it finally connected.
Hmm.
That's what you have the ability to do now for the kids that won't join your team, will only be on your team for a year, will come there. And we've all had it. I coached high school for a couple of years, loved it. The kids that just want to be part of a team, that's not a bad thing. I've talked to plenty of track coaches. High school was like, if you're going to be on my team, you're going to, you're going to strive for the state meet. I'm like, that ain't everybody. In fact, that's not most people, to be real frank with
No,
you.
agreed. Agreed.
But they can get positives from you as a leader being on that team.
So I know for me, I allow those. You know what I'm
Good.
saying? I
Good.
allow those because like my shot put group last year, they were a tight knit group, but they, out of five girls, two were just they knew that they was throwers. The other three, they were there to work out with the other girls because they just knew the workout was good for them.
Yeah.
And my thing is know your purpose.
Yeah.
Purpose. When you walk into anything, there should be a purpose. And when you don't have a purpose, that's when you're willing to settle or do anything,
Yeah.
you know? Um, but those girls walked in and understand that, I did a good job with letting them know that, hey, if you're here to get something done.
Right.
You got to have a goal, and they did a good job. They set the certain goals with weight room.
Yep.
They might not have wanted to throw 34, 35, 36 feet.
Right.
That
Right.
just wasn't something that they was thinking about.
Yeah.
But if they could come in knowing that Coach Took's got a goal for them to all I want them to do is measure their weight every week. Just make
Right.
sure you going, you working at something, get stronger every week. It was those small goals. Hey, Coach Tooks, I got a higher I was able to do better on the deadlift today. Nice. Now I know this kid not gonna go out there and throw 36 feet, but I'm happy about your deadlift because you're excited and it's
That's
something that you focus on.
That's the kind of kid that's gonna be the first in their family to graduate college because they're gonna learn from you of like, oh, I need to measure, I need to have goals, I need to track things. Like those are things that you need to have in
Mhm.
college to be successful to actually get a degree, right? They're gonna get a job and they're gonna start at entry level and maybe get promoted to manager because they're gonna remember, Coach Tooks used to make me write down everything and used to make me track this, and every week I'd have how did I do? Okay, I did this well. I did a little bit better than last week and threw 30 feet in the shot put as a high schooler. Their worth is not based on how far they throw. Their worth is, I like how you said that, what's their role on the team?
On the team.
Some people's roles, which by the way, is things out of your control. You have God-given genetics. Sorry, there's no amount of coaching is going to give or take away that, right? And they're going to go on and throw 50 feet for a
Right.
shot putter, uh, and not be a leader. By the way, they were like, all right, cool, I threw 50. See
And
ya.
that's all their job is to perform.
That's it. That's
And then you
exactly
got
right.
other man. So
That's
That's
exactly right.
and that jumps into knowing your personnel, man. I think that's a big thing that um coaches have to get and
Yeah.
have to understand. Like you have to know your personnel. I
Well,
had a girl on my team. She was just the emotional, spiritual girl.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm.
go sit by Jeanette and make sure Jeanette not crying.
Right.
You know, and she could do that. She'll
Yeah.
go sit by Jeanette, start having Jeanette crying. I mean, laughing, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, Jeanette ain't even thought about her race.
So let's double click into that then, Tooks, because this is not something when you started coaching as a what 25-ish year old roughly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
25.
you are not the same coach today as you were then. I hope you aren't anyway, because that means you
Oh
haven't
no,
developed, right? So how do you learn these things? How have you developed as a coach from 25 till today? And when I say how, I don't necessarily mean like, oh, I'm better at knowing people's roles and things like that. Like that's cool and all, but like, how did you observe other coaches? Was there a clinic presentation that you went to was like, wow, wait a minute, I didn't realize that I could have had influence over that. I could help people with the roles, whatever. How have you developed over these past few years?
I gotta say through first and foremost,
Hmm.
my first ICA clinic was a big awakener.
How
Why
so? How
like
so?
big awakener for me.
When he says ITCA, remember we global took, so we got to make sure we tell people what ITCA. We know what
Oh,
ITCA is. It's the
oh,
Illinois Track and Field
yep.
Cross Country. It's your state association. So
Hmm.
Alabama has AHSAA. Well, that's the whole association, but Wisconsin has the WISCA, Wisconsin Track Coaches Association. Almost every state has something like that. He's talking about the Illinois version, which is one of the top five again, roughly track clinics in this country for sure. I love it. Yeah, yeah. So how was that such an eye opener for you?
So hearing Boo Snyder
Uh,
speak
Sheck
and
Snyder, yeah, yeah.
man and hearing other coaches through Illinois give their perspective on what they were doing, and it was, I forget this coach name in particular, can't remember his name specifically,
Hmm.
but I at the time he was at an orange school. It was
You
something orange,
you did narrow
but
it down. High school, college,
high school.
okay.
High
Here
school.
in Illinois,
I still see him at all. Yeah, I still see
okay,
him at other meets. I just
okay,
his name just won't come out.
okay.
Um, but he gave a team camaraderie talk and uh how to be there for not only your athletes but for parents. You
Ooh,
know,
ooh,
and that gave me so much insight, man.
love that.
Um, simply because the young me, uh, I ain't mind. I ain't mind just being as real as possible, whether it hurted the athlete feelings, the
Right,
parent feelings.
right.
Uh, it was like, hey, I'm trying to get the team that I want, and
Yep,
I need people involved who
yep.
know that, and just being able to dial it back and understand not everybody coming into this thing with the same support, the
Right.
same mindset,
That's right.
or the same expectations for their kids. Some parents don't care if their kid come to practice or not. Some parents will tell their kids, "Hey, you don't have to go to practice today. Come home."
Right, right.
But knowing that hearing that talk and knowing that you're dealing with a different playing field across the board in every different household with every different kid,
Yeah.
uh, that really gave me the knowledge that I needed to
Two, two,
respect that part.
two things. One, you said you still see Orange coach around, right?
Yeah,
All right, so I'm gonna give you homework. Next time you see that person, you're gonna go up to him and be like, "Hey, man, I was just thinking that I was reflecting back. Maybe Orange Man knows about the podcast. I was on Mike's podcast, Gil's podcast, and we were talking about people that are influential. And man, you gave a talk at ITCA X amount of years ago, and I brought that up. Like that person needs to hear that his talk helped someone else. You know what I'm saying? Because
agree.
sometimes we forget like the influence we have, and it's easy for us to go, "Well, I'm just in my own little place." Like, no, you have influence, right? So step up to that person next time and tell them thank you.
Will do, man.
Two, I love that is your memory. First of all, you mentioned my mentor, Bush Nader. So I love that. That's the first person you mentioned. Still the number one show on our podcast, by the way. So whatever app you're listening to, go listen to Boo's story. It's amazing. Uh, but that not an X's and O's workout, not a I went to this, I listened to this triple jump speaker and it just amazed me. Or I went to this a talk on culture and parent culture that because we're doing a better job today than we were yesterday. But when you go to a track clinic, it used to be 90, maybe even back on that one you're talking about, maybe he was the only talk that wasn't an X and O's. 90% were all X's and O's, and 10% were on culture or recruiting, something like that. We're getting better today where maybe 70% are X's and O's and 30% are on culture. And
Hmm.
so I love that is like that was your first memory of like, oh, I went to ITCA and I saw this guy talking about expectations and kids and parents, and I was like, that really kind of that changed you. That changed your
Oh yeah.
DNA a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, simply because it's not always about sports, man. The kids can have fun and they could be really successful with the sport if you know everything that's going into it, everything that they got to deal with before they get to the sport.
Right.
Because if you can help with certain stressors,
Yeah.
man,
See
it's
that's an important language is important to me, like the words you choose and the words you say and how you speak to yourself as well. But Tooks, the way you just said that, you said, the things that they have to deal with before they even get to me, before they get to practice. That's a stark difference between how you were explaining, like, if a kid's one or two, I don't know. And it's like, yeah, but Tooks, what you just said there is really important.
Mhm.
Have you taken a second, taken a step back and really learned what is that kid going through to be it, to self say a one or two?
Man,
Like,
there's something there.
that's it. That's
There's something
exactly
there deeper.
right. Even a kid that, you could easily dismiss a kid who has, it looks like they have everything. Man, you got both parents, you guys are middle class, so money's not a part. You're not missing breakfasts and stuff. You're fine. What do you have to complain about? It's like, man, that kid might just not be her. That kid might, there's so many things with young people, with us. You have something going on right now. I have something. We all have something that we don't see going on. And you remember yourself as a 16, 17-year-old kid.
Oh
Things
yeah,
were things were much easier to think that it was the end of the world. That's a 16-year-old that now you're like, whatever, man, I'm good. A 16-year-old thinks it's the end of the world.
right. I was upset when I ran out of Cocoa Puffs, man. I'm ain't no more Cocoa Puffs, man. I don't. The world about to end,
The
man.
world, where the
You
are
know,
Cocoa Puffs?
wake up in the morning, about to go to school. You been trying to pull you some Cocoa Puffs, and three pebbles come out.
Amen.
You're like, oh man,
It's a bad day.
it's not finna be a
I,
good one.
I hope that track coach don't try to talk to me today because it ain't happening today. Yeah, exactly.
You know, so
I love this perspective Tooks about whether you're talking about 15-year-old kid in the hallways, your assistant coach, a coach at another program, a teacher, etc. That we're all going through something, and we don't know what that other person is going through. And so grace is an important factor
it's
for us to get through life because we need grace as well. By the way, I guarantee you, maybe not you, Tooks, me. I snapped at someone because I was having a bad day, and now the person's like, "Man, Mike's a jerk," and it's like, "Man, that was a jerk moment for sure. I'm not a jerk. Doesn't excuse what I did.
oh
I'm sorry. We need
I agree,
grace."
man. I have a very very down moment in my life where just not even down, just I learned from because I showed myself um not to be in control. I
Mm.
think a big thing for that is self-control. And I had a big blow up at Rich Township at a meet at Rich Township last year.
Oh no.
It was crazy, man. I
What
really
happened,
learned.
Tooks?
So we had my fresh off relay was told they were in the wrong heat. So they knew they should have been in the heat before, but they were told like, "Hey, you're not in this heat." And then when the race started, the starter was like, "Hey, Bloom Township was supposed to be in that heat."
Right, DQ. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like, "No," but the clerk told them that they were supposed to. So when I brought it to the athletic director who was helping run the meet, he basically told me like, "No, it's not my clerk's fault. Your girls just didn't get on the track." When the clerk told me she told them what heat to get in. So
Right.
instead of being under control and handling it professionally,
You
I
go off.
I did. I went off.
Uh,
I was right by the finish line, so all the parents saw me going off, and I held up the next race. I held up the next race. I did, man.
like you stood
But
on the track. It was like, we ain't having
I
this
was right.
race.
I was right at the start. I said we can't be planning on starting another race, and y'all not getting this fixed, because not only
No.
did it affect my fresh soft girls, but it affected Kennedy King and another high school girls. So my thing that I was pushing for to the Rich Township AD was, this got to be about the kids.
Right.
It's not about no points.
Right.
It's about these kids making sure they get their opportunity on the track to run when it
Right.
wasn't their fault.
Right.
I could really respect if my girls didn't walk up to the line and they just didn't. I could fully respect that, and
Right.
I take that out on them. But for your clerk to say, "Yeah, I told them this heat," and then you try to say, "No, it's not your fault; it's their fault."
Right.
What are we doing as adults?
What was the resolution?
We got him on the track.
Okay.
So thanks to Lionel Poole, one of the great starters here in Illinois,
Yeah.
um, he walked over and was like, "Hey man, you got to calm yourself. Now I could fix this,
Yeah.
but you making me not want to fix it." So in that moment, I had to
Mm.
realize, all right, I did too much, especially when I got a Bloom great walking over here to me telling me, "Hey, you're not making us look good."
Dude, what a statement. That kind of resonated with me right there, man. When you said it, he said, look, I want to help you out, but you're making me not want like that hit me. Like, I wonder times where there's been people who like have my back, want to have my back, and because the way I'm acting, they're like, not like this.
Right.
Like
Right.
you're putting yourself on an island, bro, when you acting like this. I can't help that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that hit. Ooh,
And in my perspective, it was and that's why perspective is everything, man.
everything.
Perspective is everything. Because in my eyes, I thought that the Rich Township AD just didn't respect me. Um, and therefore he was going to just go with what he was
Right.
saying. But um, not knowing that the starter knew what was going on, not, Lionel Poole, he knew what was going on. He was going to fix it. I never gave him the opportunity to address it because I took it into, you know what I'm saying? So
Oh
I
man.
learned that.
How would you talk about perspective? We have that, right? 2020, we have that behind us. We can see how would you have done something? And by the way, let me take a step back here. Thank you for being so open and authentic with this. Like, 'cause this is the type of these are hard conversations. It's hard for you to tell, there's a lot of people listening to the podcast, bro. It's hard to tell people, hey, here's how I was an idiot. My
Yeah,
words, not
yeah,
yours.
yeah.
I guess I just said that I called you an idiot because I said my words, not you. You didn't
No,
call
no. I
yourself an
mean,
idiot. I called you an
it was very idiotic, man.
for
Because I should have been able to have more self control. That's
for
my thing.
for you to be able to do that in a public forum like this. I am so grateful because I think there are other people that are hearing this right now and they're going, "Oh, did I do that?" And I haven't apologized. You're like, "Oh, I don't think anybody's actually told me that I acted like that." That rings a bell. Or they're listening and they're going to be in a similar situation as you one day, today, tomorrow, 5 years from now. And for some people, they're going to remember your story before they blow up and go, "Ooh, okay, wait a minute. I remember that guy. He blew up and it didn't work out real well. And kind of, he wish he would have taken a step back. Do I need to take a step back right here? Am I about to blow up and it's not going to be good? Like this is going to help people. So I just want to publicly say thank you because sometimes people don't realize that on this podcast it's not a scripted podcast. And what I mean by that is you got no questions beforehand, so you had
Mhm.
no clue this story was even going to come up. You probably
Right.
were in your head were like, I hope this story doesn't come up. So you get to tell the story how you want to. So I'm just grateful that you have the humility and honestly the what's the word well, some of it's trust, but um, oh my gosh, I can't think of the word here. You have the oh, I'm really stuck on the freaking word. You have the humility to be able to say, "Hey, here's what I did. Boy, it was
Oh yeah.
wrong." Yeah, so I appreciate that. I just want to make sure
No
that's
problem with ownership at all, man. Because I feel like people learn from others' mistakes. You
Yeah,
know.
some of us do. More of us should, right? Yeah. That's very nice of you to say that we all do, but no, well, we all don't. So hindsight, in perspective here, what would you have done differently? Now knowing how it all turned out and you have all the cards on the table, you know everything and what everybody knew and how they really were acting, how would you have done that differently?
So I would have taken it to Lionel Poole right from the. I'd have taken it to the starters, the judges of the starters of the meet, simply because they the ones who, at the end of the day, make the decisions. Um,
Right.
so instead of understanding that the clerk went wrong, instead of going to the AD, I would have just went straight to the starters and allowed the starters to get it correct with the AD.
Right.
Instead of including myself.
Yeah.
And that's a trust factor because
Yeah.
in that moment I didn't trust that they would do the right things for the kids.
Right.
So um, you know, I put myself in position to make sure it was done, but it wasn't done the right way.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of positive to it too as well. Like what you were fighting for is positive. You were fighting for the kids. Someone else made a mistake. They shouldn't be punished for it. So there's a lot of positives to it. The negative is, okay, here's how I reacted to it. So that's the lesson. It's like, okay, bad things are going to happen. This won't be the last time. You're not retiring this year, so this ain't the last time something like this is going to happen. Okay, now next time it does happen, you're going to respond to it in a much different way and more positivity is going to come from it. So I
yeah.
love that. That's a great lesson, man. That's good. What you mentioned assistant coach for so many years. I think maybe you said 8. Now maybe last 4 as the head coach. What's the difference that you've seen being a high school assistant coach versus a high school head coach? What's the biggest differences for you?
So when I was a assistant coach, I didn't have to deal with the parents. Um, in like my first couple years as an assistant, I was able to just focus on the athletes. But then during the last couple years, I can honestly say the parents just started to become a little too much.
Mm,
So that's when I became the one to talk to the parents. Therefore, the head coach could just focus on the athletes simply because um, our parents at the time didn't, you know, I don't think they appreciated the knowledge and what Andrew Schmidt was doing for their kids.
sure.
I think that they had their own perspective of what was going on, thinking he was playing favoritism or anything like that. When we run the kids who run the times. We run the kids who show up to practice. We set an expectation. If they meet it, they race. Um, I think they saw more. Not not it. They didn't see it as him setting the expectation. They saw it as passive aggressiveness. So when I saw that they were trying to make it out to something that is not, so I told him, you shouldn't deal with any more parents. Let me talk to the parents. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to say we came out those last couple of years before he left it. I want to say 2019, 2020, the COVID year. We came out ranked top 5 in the state that year, and then everything happened with COVID and, he ended up leaving, I want to say that year after COVID. So I want to say that the biggest difference is definitely parents
Mm,
from assistant to head coach, because as an assistant, you're not looked at as the main guy. You looked at as a piece who's helping everybody else get better.
right.
You know, um,
Well, it's hard for me to understand this because as a I'm so glad my freshmen and both my kids actually are not doing track. I wish they were, I guess, because I love track and all that. But like I used to think like, ooh, I don't know if I can be the good parent, because I coached at a high level. I coached in the SEC. I coached, a couple of SEC champions, All Americans, all this kind of stuff. So I at least
Awesome.
used to know what I was doing. I've forgotten
Mhm.
everything since then, but at least I used to know it all, or used to know a lot. And I always wonder, I was like, oh man, if my kids, especially hurdles, that's my jam. I was like, if my kids go into track and start doing hurdles, and the coach isn't doing what's right, can I just sit there and shut up? As long as they're not being unsafe. Like there's always there's a line there, of course, of safety. But if they're just not coaching them, teaching them how to do hurdles, how I know it should be taught. Can I
Mhm.
just be like, well, they're still having a good experience. It's okay. What are the odds my kids are going to college for track anyway? At 7%. So, I don't know if I could. So I've really taken the attitude of like, hey, as long as everything's safe, I don't care. I mean, coach is the coach. If you want to come home and complain about coach, sorry, uh, do better.
Right.
I'm not gonna go talk to coach. I'm sorry. As long as everything's safe, coach has the right to run his or her program however they want. So it's hard for me. This is why I asked this question, and it's a little sensitive because you're in the muck, meaning you have parents right now. So please be careful. Answer how you want to answer this. What are the majority of customers of parents' complaints? Is it, and I'm trying to think for track because I was going to say playing time, but we know what that means for us, getting on the actual track. Is it you work them out too hard? What are the, like, what's a parent coming to you for these days in general?
So, for me, I don't, right now, I can honestly say, I don't get too many track parents
Good.
because I got a young lady who's on my team right now. Um, two actually. Their parents are track parents, but um, their parents are very supportive. They
Mhm.
want, they if their kids are not performing, I got a dad who want to know why. Hey,
Mhm.
what's going on? Because he's her summer,
Mhm.
summer coach.
Is that
And
okay? Stay there. I told you I was going to interrupt you.
oh
Uh,
no, we good.
because I would think that that would be harder because that guy knows something. He coaches summer track. He knows whatever level, whatever. I'm not here to compare it to them ever. He knows something. I would think that'd be the worst parent because it'd be like, oh man, they're scrutinizing everything I'm doing. And if I don't do it exactly like they would do, which is rare that you would, but I'm hearing that's actually a pretty good relationship.
Yeah, we actually work well because
Hmm,
I I have a certain expectation too, and me knowing what I know, I know how a certain performance should grow. I know how athletes should grow. So, me and him were pretty much on the same page.
that's cool.
And then the best thing about it is those parents who are track parents, they're really supportive. Like they want their kid to do good, you know? So you letting them know, like I let them know, hey, I'm not getting the best work efforts out of her. You know what I'm saying? He don't mind coming to practice to show itself so that she can work harder. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And to be honest, I actually brought him on this year because he just knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
And I don't how I look at it is Phil Jackson kept his assistant coaches because they were good coaches. He surrounded himself with coaches, and I think every assistant coach that was under Phil Jackson went off to be a head coach, right? So knowing that I have um, not only a coach but a parent who knows this thing like I do,
right.
I think it gives a certain type of expectation not only for that athlete whose parent it is, but for the rest of the kids because that athlete has to be at practice with all the other girls,
Right.
and all the girls have to see that mindset and that work ethic that she's bringing. So having dad there to set that expectation and have her meet it, in which I don't think it's I don't think it's taken away from her performance. I think it's done nothing but be beneficial
Yeah.
because now it puts a certain type of accountability
Mm.
on it, and you're not gonna want to. you're not going to want to not do well in front of your parent, right? So knowing that I have a parent around who's showing these girls, hey, I want to see you all succeed, and I'm also a parent,
Right.
you know, I think that that pushes. I actually think that that pushes going to help push the program. You
It
know,
it always boggles me when I hear of track parents complaining to the track coach because track is so pure. It's so easy. It's like, look, let's start with, does your young lady show up for practice or not? Okay, yes or no? No. Well, that's why she's not on the track. Does she have good attitude when she's at practice? Yes, no, no. Well, that's probably why she's not on the track. And then when it comes time to actually running or throwing, it's like she's running 30 seconds and I have five girls that run 26. There's only so many lane like football and basketball would be harder in my opinion because it's like it's more subjective, right? It's like, well, my son could be just as good, and it's like, it depends on who's in front of him. It's a little harder sometimes with track. It's like, man, here's the tape measure. You tell me where the extra inches are coming from, man. It ain't happening on
right?
this thing. So it always boggles me when I hear about parents for track. I'm like, but then I also realize, there are some I do live in a neighborhood and I live in a community that's very sports minded. I've seen plenty of parents who it's like, man, you gotta step back, guys. You guys are crazy, man. What are y'all doing?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and the thing is, for me as a parent, if you feel like you know more than a coach, why aren't you coaching?
Coach, baby, go coach. Yes.
Why aren't you coaching? And then, if anything, how about you come be a help? How about you come tell me what you know and see how I take it? Hey, coach, you think I could sit down with you? I got some ideas I want to run
Right,
by you,
right, right.
because if I can get from you that you know what you're talking about, I'm a listener, bro.
That's a
I
different
I grew
conversation. Yeah.
I grew up understanding that you're gonna be learning the rest of your life.
Right, right,
So if I could learn something from you,
right,
I'm gonna listen.
right,
Now it's up to me to use. It's up to you to use it.
right,
You could tell me anything, but whether I'm gonna use it or not,
right, right,
you know, you
right.
probably will never know. But
I've
I'm gonna
unfortunately
give you the.
I live in such a small community. It's already gotten out that I used to coach, and so like the track coach is always like, "Man, Mike," she's always talking to my wife. If we could ever get your husband to coach, I'm like, "Nah, I'm not doing it. Those days are sailed. I don't have time, and I'm not doing it." But I'm always like, I wonder if one day there's going to be a track coach that has no clue who I am. Be like, "What do you know, Mike?" I'm like, "All right, let's sit down."
Here we go. Here we go. I've been waiting.
That's what I've been waiting for, buddy. All right, Tooks, let's start wrapping up, man. One of my favorite questions to wrap up an interview is what's got you excited, man? What's got you excited about the future there at Bloom Township? Whether it's and I have no clue. I do no research. So whether you have like the state's number one shot putter, or you've got a team that you think is gonna win regionals for the first time, whatever, you get to tell us what's got you excited there as the head girls coach at Bloom Township.
I think what got me excited this year is my young group of girls who don't have too much track and field experience,
Hmm.
but they've in these last 2 years, especially my freshmen who are sophomores now, and then I have a senior. Her first year running last year was a junior,
Hmm.
like her first year ever running, and she ran 12.98 to finish the season.
Yeah.
And I have a group of sophomores who feed off of it, and they just been working. They just been working at
Nice.
having that group work through the summer with Marquise Lowe and the Vipers.
Hmm.
Um, I'm just excited for the young runners here at Bloom Township, and the future here of track and field at Bloom Township, knowing that we got approved for a new indoor facility. It's
Dude,
gonna be
that's
top of the line,
huge. Huge.
you know. So I'm very excited about the growth and the future of track and field here in Chicago Heights.
That's it, man. As someone who deals in facilities, it's not always about facilities for sure. There's plenty of teams. Your team has been successful without, these kind of facilities, but they do help, and they help in several different ways, right? One is, let's be real. We're in Illinois. We're in Chicagoland. It gets cold. There's some times where you just are not able to do some of the workouts that you want to do, or don't be able to do them for as long. So that starts getting evaporated away.
Mhm.
Also that there are kids And for a guy from Alabama, they're very close to my heart, who are like, I'm not doing track. It's cold in January and February, dog. I'm not
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah,
Now you'll have more kids join the team that are like, oh, okay, at least I get to be inside. Like, okay, that's cool. So it's going to be as transformational as you and your coaches have been over the past few years. This is going to be, it's not the be all end all, but it is going to be an accelerator for you guys. This is like putting
I agree.
gas into the fire. You already got the fire starting. It's a good fire. This is just another little squirt of gas to help blow those flames up, man. And I think it's going to be really cool for you guys. I'm excited to watch from the sidelines.
Man, I'm excited for these young ladies, and just the future of running here at Bloom Township. Period,
Yeah,
because we usually don't get big numbers out, but I'm hoping that that can attract the bigger numbers and attract the numbers those kids who are coming in from the feeder schools. Um, that will push them to stay because
right.
we get a lot of talent that transfer out.
Mm,
Um, simply because they certain other schools that
yeah,
offer a little bit of a better facility,
yeah, right.
so I think that this would be a super game changer for us to keep all of our um, feeder school kids who are top of the line in track
Yeah,
to want to come to Bloom Trail,
yeah,
in Bloom Township. So
yeah. I think so. I think you guys better get prepared, honestly, for more numbers and overall. Your coaching's gonna have to change a little bit too. As far as you, because you'll have a place to go to do some things that you haven't been able to do in the
yes,
past.
sir.
So you guys have to prepare for that as well. All right, Tooks. I have two things for you before we leave. Two homeworks. I'm starting to assign more homework. Season
I
seven
got the
is the.
first assignment.
That's it. That's number one. You're gonna go find Orange Man. I think I keep calling him Orange Man. There was a show back in the day. Do you ever? You're too young. Have you ever heard of, because I know you didn't watch it, X-Files?
Yeah, I did watch the X Files.
Yeah, there was the smoking man, right? He was always, he'd show up and like that's they never knew his name. There's the smoking man said,
Yeah,
This is the Orange Man. Go find Orange Man and tell him, hey, thank you. That actually impacted me a lot, and I'm grateful for it. I love that. That's your first homework. Your second homework is kind of tangential on that. I want you to consider whether it's at ITCA or the Gil 1918 project. You have a lot to share with others. Some of it is X's and O's for sure. But your thought process on young kids, I actually think your story about the blow up at Rich South, I think you said is
yeah,
school. I think there is something for you to build around, a talk around that about professionalism in high school coaching track and field, how to take a step back as a track and field coach, right? Like that, like I'm thinking of like titles that would like entice people, like, what's he talking about? And
mhm,
talking about like, hey, if you want a longer career, let me tell you some mistakes that I've made that will help you. I wish I would have known these mistakes as a young coach. Let me tell them to you today and help you. I think there's something with that will help others. I'm always trying to find people who, like yourself, that I think have a lot of value to give. And so how do I help extract that value out through talks, through podcasts, etc.
for
That's my
sure.
two homeworks. One, go see Orange Man, tell him thank you. And two, think about some type of topic that you could become the man around. Like, okay, when Tooks talks, oh, he's talking about professionalism or mistakes or whatever. I think there's a lot of benefit to continue because you stand on the shoulders of giants inside this state here at Illinois. There's a lot of Illinois high school coaches and Illinois college coaches that you've heard and listened to that have helped you become where you are
Yeah,
today. You
yeah.
now it's your turn to continue to work towards being one of those pieces for the younger coaches that are starting out today or not even coaches today. That fair?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Each one teach one.
That's it, man. We're all part of a puzzle. And if you don't think you have value to give, you're wrong. First and
I,
foremost, you're dead wrong. And I know you don't think that. That's what I love about you. But we all have value, and we just have to find, you know what? Just like we talked about, we have to find our role inside that. Some of us are going to host podcasts. Some of us are going to be on podcasts. Some of us are going to get on stage to talk. Some of us are not. Some of us are going
mhm.
to be the hallway talkers talking to other coaches, going, "Yeah, I here's what I did one time and it didn't work
Yep,
out." We all have value to give. It's just about finding that right avenue, and sometimes we need to be pushed for that right avenue as well. So uh, that's what my hope is for you, my friend.
and I really appreciate it, man. I've really enjoyed myself. Really enjoyed talking to you, man. I'm really encouraged.
Good. You
I
should be.
want to do. I think I'm gonna jump on top of doing more content
You
with,
should. 100%.
just small 30-second talks,
100%.
trying to encourage
I want
athletes and
I
parents.
I want someone to start. Everybody keeps going to like Instagram Reels and TikTok and stuff like that. Something that's really hot right now is YouTube Shorts. And when I say they're hot, meaning like they're like YouTube's owned by Google. So when you Google something, YouTube Shorts pulls up a lot of times. So I want someone to really start a YouTube Shorts channel. Exactly what you just said there. Because I think the longest a YouTube short can be is 2 minutes, I think. So 30 seconds to 2 minutes. You're walking the track. Hey, I just wanted to talk about warm-ups, using a kind of an X's and O's example, but think about warm-ups, and I wonder, do we do them too long? Are they too short? And then maybe another topic is like, hey, I just saw a young man from another team pick up a piece of trash at this track meet, and you know what? That tells me a lot about that coach or those
Yep,
parents. Like, I
yep.
think there could be something there. And then as you continue to build out your library of YouTube shorts, something's gonna like click for you, like a topic, like, oh, I really like talking and learning more about leadership or recruiting or whatever. And then that becomes like, oh, now that's the kind of thing I can build out to do a talk at ITCA or on a
Hmm.
podcast, etc. So yeah, I bless you
No,
on that, man. I want you to do that.
that's my next goal, man. That's my next goal
Yeah,
is to be
you're the
one of those
radio.
coaches.
Yeah, you're the radio photography guy, dude. You absolutely should be doing some kind of YouTube shorts or something. Absolutely. You're a content guy. That's exactly what
Yeah,
that is. That's
yeah,
exactly it. Well, I bless that. Let me know how I can help with that. We have the Gil 1918 Project podcast as well, which are 10 to 30 minute self-recorded episodes. If you want to kind of put your thoughts down and figure out a little talk there, we'd love to have you on that as well. But anything we can do,
appreciate it.
anything I can do to bless you with that, because that's going to help the rest of our coaching body. I'm all in for it, man. Anything I can do for you.
And I appreciate that, man.
Tooks, man, thank you so much, man. The most valuable thing that you can give me is your time, man. I always tell people this is a hard podcast to be on. This ain't let's sit down for 20 minutes, man. This is let's sit down for two. And I think we're pushing 2 hours for our total time here.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm just so grateful for that because I know you are busy. You're busy with school, you're busy with the kids and things like that. So I really am grateful for that. So thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for this opportunity. This is a real testament to the work that I feel like I've been putting in. And you know, you blessed me with this, man. So I appreciate it for you taking your time out to give me this opportunity.
Thank you. You deserve it, my friend. And thank you guys for being here again. As we are in the start of season 7, man, it's mind-boggling the amount of coaches, the amazing quality of these human beings that choose to be track and field coaches. They could all go on to be amazing things. He could be a National Geographic photographer, national winner type of thing, right? But instead, he's out there coaching our young people in the great sport of track and field, and that is I don't know. I'm eternally grateful for stuff like that, man. So thank you guys for being here, listening to a story. Join us next week. We'll do it all over again. See you guys.